Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and in the blink of an eye... Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and in the blink of an eye, Earth stops spinning. Not gradually, not over thousands of years, but instantly, in just 1 second. This single event would unleash chaos on a scale humanity has never witnessed. At first, you might think nothing dramatic would happen. After all, the ground beneath your feet feels solid and unmoving. But the truth is, this calm stability hides a violent motion beneath our very existence. Right now, Earth spins at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. You don't feel it, but everything you see, air, oceans, even buildings is carried along by this motion. It's like sitting on a speeding train, unaware of how fast you're moving. If Earth suddenly stopped in just 1 second, that momentum wouldn't disappear. Everything not firmly attached to solid bedrock would continue flying eastward at deadly speed. The result would be similar to a car crash, but on a planetary scale. Imagine cars, skyscrapers, trees, and even entire cities torn from the ground and hurled forward at over 1,000 miles per hour. The destruction would be almost unimaginable. No technology or infrastructure could withstand such forces. Most of humanity would not survive the first instant. People, animals, and objects would be launched through the air with catastrophic force. Survival would be a matter of pure chance, depending on location and shelter. But let's assume, for argument's sake, that some people do survive this apocalyptic moment. What comes next is just as terrifying. The real horror begins only after the initial shock. The atmosphere wouldn't stop with Earth. Air would continue racing at the same speed, creating winds more powerful than any hurricane or tornado ever recorded. These winds would be strong enough to strip paint from steel and crush concrete. These winds would tear across continents, flattening forests, toppling mountainsides, and destroying anything left standing after the first disaster. The noise alone would be deafening, like the roar of thousands of jet engines. Surviving outdoors would be nearly impossible. The air itself would become a deadly weapon, stripping the land bare in minutes. Entire ecosystems would be erased before they had any chance to adapt. And then, the oceans would join the chaos. Just like the air, the water would keep moving. Massive walls of water would surge across coastlines, unstoppable and merciless. Coastal cities would vanish in moments, drowned under walls of water. Even regions far inland would not be safe from the flooding. Rivers would reverse their flow, and lakes would spill across landscapes. But the nightmare doesn't end there. Earth's rotation creates a bulge around the equator. If the planet stops spinning, this bulge would collapse. The redistribution of mass would reshape the face of the Earth forever. Water from the oceans would flow toward the poles, flooding northern and southern regions while draining the equatorial zones into vast deserts. It would be as if the planet's geography was rewritten overnight. Countries near the equator, like Brazil or Indonesia, could dry up, while Canada, Russia, and northern Europe might disappear beneath the waves. Nations would vanish not through war, but through physics. The very shape of Earth's surface would change, leaving our familiar world map unrecognizable. Humanity would need to redraw its borders, assuming it even survived long enough to do so. But perhaps the most frightening change would come from time itself. Without rotation, Earth would no longer have a 24-hour day and night cycle. The rhythm of life, tied to sunrise and sunset, would be shattered. Instead, one half of the planet would face the sun for 6 months at a time, baking under endless heat, while the other half froze in 6 months of darkness. The concept of day and night would become meaningless. Agriculture would collapse almost immediately. Crops on the daylight side would burn, while those in darkness would wither and freeze. Humanity would struggle to find new ways to feed itself. Human survival would depend on chasing the thin twilight zone between light and dark. It's the only place where temperatures might be tolerable. But this fragile belt would be narrow and unstable. Even if people managed to adapt to this extreme lifestyle, they would face another threat: Earth's magnetic field. Without it, our planet would be left naked against the universe. Our planet's rotation helps generate this field, which protects us from cosmic radiation. Without it, radiation from the sun and deep space would bombard the surface. The skies would glow with dangerous solar storms. Life outdoors would become dangerous, with cancer rates skyrocketing and ecosystems collapsing under constant radiation exposure. Slowly but surely, the protective shield of life would fade away. Over time, Earth would transform from a blue, thriving world into something closer to Mars, dry, barren, and stripped of its protective shield. Oceans would evaporate, and the atmosphere would thin. In the end, if Earth stopped spinning in 1 second, humanity would likely not survive. Civilization as we know it would be reduced to fragments, if anything remained at all. Yet the thought experiment reminds us just how precious our rotating planet really is. Every second of Earth's spin is a gift, a delicate balance that keeps us alive in the vastness of space. Every sunrise and sunset we experience is part of the fragile miracle of motion. Without that spin, none of us would be here to wonder. What if Earth stopped turning?